I just I'm so done with being sick.
I'm trying to focus. All right, girls, this is Stephanie Williams now. She is married, has a beautiful young baby boy named Brody, which I can't wait to meet here in a few weeks. She is one of. This is Stephanie Williams now. She is married, has a beautiful young baby boy named Brody. Something weird right now in a few weeks. She is one of. This is Stephanie Williams now. She is married, has a beautiful young baby boy named Brody. Sorry, Steph, something's happening here.
No, you're good.
All right, so Stephanie is one of my best friends from back home. She now lives in Florida, where, like I said, she's with her husband and her beautiful son. Stephanie is going to be speaking about kind of the beyond the surface scenario. Growing up, we're from a small town, like you guys have figured out from the other guest speakers. So everyone knew everyone. If you were any sort of athletic ability, you were considered this popular person, and Stephanie was that very quote-unquote popular student in high school. And there's more of the story, and she's going to get to it. But then what I admire Stephanie for so much, and what she really helped to change my life, was her faith and what she decided to take it to the next level with. And she moved after high school down to Florida to join something called The Mission, and where she then later met her husband. And just her story is really interesting and neat, and I'm excited for her to say it because I kind of lived through it with her, and now she gets to tell it to you guys through different eyes and the under the surface of what it's really like to be this quote unquote popular person, but what no one knows underneath. So, Steph, are you ready?
Game on.
Yeah, all right. You do you, girl.
Okay, it's gonna be silent, right? And I just talk.
Yep, you just talk. I'm gonna mute you. Or mute us.
Okay. All right, am I good? Someone give me a thumbs up. Woohoo! All right. Party on. That's great. By the way, Miss Collins, which is so funny to say, but it's not funny because you're an awesome teacher. She's freaking awesome. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm just gonna say that. She is, I don't know, I just think it's so cool that you guys have her as a teacher. And so I know that there's probably some teachers there that are a little boring, but she is not, and she is great, and she is fun, and I'm assuming she's probably already told you this, but if you need someone to talk to, I know that she is definitely a good ear to have lended to, because I don't know, I just think that she is really awesome and just real and honest. So I love you, Mal. I know you're not gonna be able to tell you that you love me back, but that's okay. Just yeah. So today, when Miss Collins asked me to talk to you guys, the first thing that came to my mind was like, I am not in shape right now. Like, I just had a baby, and I am not what I looked like in high school. So I'm like, man, like I can't. What can I talk about as far as like physical education and just health and different things like that? And I want to talk to you guys about mental health, because I think that that is so important. And I just think it's lacking. I think a lot of the times, if you can't see the problem, then people just ignore it. And I think that we as women, as girls, like we do the same thing, that if nobody can see the problem, I think that we just ignore ourselves and we just try to hide it. And I think that that's the way that I lived my life a lot in high school. I grew up in church. Like she said that, you know, I'm really strong in my faith, but I didn't always like church. I actually hated it. My stepdad is a pastor. And so I grew up in a pastor's home, and it was horrible because I got preached at a lot, and that's not the way that I like respond. Like I don't want someone talking at me. I want someone talking like with me. And a lot of growing up, it was very, you know, this is the way that life is supposed to be. And I had a lot of whys and hows. And so again, like, even though I grew up in church, I, sorry if that was really loud. Uh, even though I grew up knowing faith, I still didn't like it and I still didn't trust it. Hang on. Sorry guys, the sickness is real. And so anyways, I grew up in that type of atmosphere, and I was one way in my household and one way at church, and then I would go to school and I would be another way. Like Molly said, I didn't really take school. I got a tickle in my throat. I'm gonna grab a cough drop. Hang on. Okay, so I got a bunch of cough drops. Don't touch me. This is probably so unprofessional, but I don't even care right now. So anyways, so I grew up in church, freaking hated it. I thought it was the worst thing in the world. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? You want to listen? You can't listen. Go outside. Love you. Nosy husband. So anyways, so I was good from the outside. It looked like I had it all together. Like I said, how many of you guys have watched Mean Girls before? Raise your hand if you have. Okay. Do you remember Regina and how she just was like, just I could quote that movie and so many inappropriate things, so I'm just not gonna do it. But there, like, I was that girl. Like, it probably annoys you to talk about everything that high school was for me. Like, I was homecoming queen, I won sweetheart queen, like just stupid thing. They're not stupid. I shouldn't say that because you guys are still in high school. But looking back, I cared so much about it, and like now I'm just kind of like, those things are so pointless. But anyways, I was a cheerleader. I thought I was dating like the cutest boy. Clifford Winkler was his name, and I just thought he was like top notch. And he was like a sophomore, and I was a senior. In Houghton Lake, okay, there was not that many cute boys. But anyways, I thought that I was like dating the cutest boy. He played football, this and that, whatever. And again, if I were to write my life out on a piece of paper and how good things were and how, you know, it would have looked like I was perfect, and it wasn't. I really struggled a lot. I struggled with the way that I viewed myself. Pretty much everything that everyone else loved about me, I hated about myself. And I hated the way like I laughed. I hated the way that I looked. I hated the way that I didn't feel smart compared to all of my other friends. And I don't know, like I struggled with depression a lot. And I don't know if anybody in the room, I don't know if you guys have ever struggled with that. Again, so many times that's a hidden issue. I think that a lot of the times people think that just because it's not physical on the outside doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I think that pain and anxiety and fear and depression and different mental health issues, they are so real and yet so still ignored. And I really struggled in that area in high school. And I remember that I would deal with it in different ways. So I always had a boyfriend. I never, in my entire life, I never not had a boyfriend. I mean, I had John Dom sites at like 3rd grade, and I liked him because he could do the monkey bars really good. Like, it's just the most absurd thing on the face of the planet. But in 3rd grade, I had a boyfriend, and never stopped having one throughout high school, through school. So I never had time to really like find myself, or I didn't know what life was like just doing it for myself. So I dealt with my anxiety and depression different ways. And obviously, I think that my parents getting a divorce when I was only 18 months old, and I think that really that hurt a lot, and I think that kind of molded my life in the way. And I think that there's probably issues in your life right now if you could think of things the way that you were brought up. And I think that whether you come from a divorced home, or if you come from a rough home, or whatever your lifestyle is, I guarantee that if you look back and you can see a certain situation unfold, that creates the person that you are now. And I think that because my parents got a divorce when I was such a young age, I think that molded me to want male attention, because I didn't feel like I was getting it enough from my biological father and my stepfather. Also, when I was around, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old, I was molested, and things happened to me that should have never happened. And I think that, again, they say like 1 in every 3 or 4 girls have struggled with that. And again, that's such a hidden issue, but it's such a real thing. And I think that opened up a door for me to want male attention. And so like I said, I dealt with it different ways. I partied a lot. I don't know if any of you guys party on the weekends. Not that you guys are going to raise your hand. Totes okay. But that's the way that I dealt with it. And like after football games and stuff, I would go and just kind of get crazy drunk and just try to like numb it out and try to forget it. And yet still at this time, I was professing that Christ, changed me, and that this is the way that I live. And yet still at the same time, I would still go out and party. And so I think that I always regret that, because I look back and I think about how many people I have probably think that I'm a hypocrite even still now. But anyways, the ending's really good. So, but anyways, during high school, I remember one time I was so low, and I was going to Roscommon. Do you guys know where Roscommon is? Raise your hand if you know where Roscommon is. No? Okay, anyways, well, it's like our rival school. Oh, holla, one person in the back. Hello, I see you. I don't know if there was, I don't know if you guys have like a rival school or not, but anyways, Roscommon was like our rival school. And I'll never forget that I got so drunk one time that I ended up passing out on a couch, and I woke up to like someone video recording a bunch of guys like peeing on me. And it was awful. I mean, it was probably like 6 or 7 guys that I had previously dated or messed around with or whatever. And I woke up to that. And I remember getting in the shower, and hopefully this isn't being too honest or too real, but like I don't think that you can ever be too honest or too real. And so, Miss Collins, hope I'm not getting you in trouble. But I remember I was so drunk, and again, these were guys that like I had messed around with, or like guys that I had dated before. So it was just like, what? Like, anyways, so I remember getting undressed and getting in the shower, and I remember people taking pictures of me while I was in the shower. And like I remember just like trying to like scrub my body and just trying to like, and I was so angry and so hurt and so embarrassed and so just I guess like embarrassed, and just like at that point I realized, like I knew that even though they had done that to me, I guarantee the next time I was at a party, I would end up messing around with them. And so that really made me think about the way that I viewed myself. And it made me view the way that I looked at myself. And I thought, man, like, if I don't care, I guess I finally realized that I just didn't care. Like, I don't know if you guys know anybody, people, and you're just like, I don't care. Like, mom, whatever, I don't care. Psh, I'm sure. Like, I don't know if you guys have any of that attitude or not, but that was like that was like huge for me. Like that was the moment that I really discovered, man, like I don't care about myself. Like I hate myself. Like it was just a very low time. So after that, I never really, like, it was never really like talked about, like, because I feel like it was because it was such a bizarre and like traumatizing thing. I think, again, we come from a small town. I don't think anybody like really talked about it. But so I was just kind of ignored. Well, then I knew that I had like a greater calling. Like I knew that like I was supposed to do something awesome with my life. And I don't know if any of you guys feel that way too, that you feel like you're called to do something great or be something great, but you're like, okay, I'm from a small town, or like I can't do this, and like you limit yourself. And that's what I was doing. So I remember my senior year, I wanted to go to Florida and do this internship program, like intern at like a church or whatever, so that you could like do hands-on ministry or whatever. Well, I was really skeptical of going, obviously, because I was raised in church and I didn't know what this was going to be like. But anyway, they advertised like, you know, you getting help, like you being able to like discover who you are and just being able to like work through issues. So I went down there, moved to Florida when I was 18 years old, and the program helped me. Like the program really helped me sort through my issues and really like, and again, this is my journey, so hopefully you guys don't think I'm like preaching at you, because I'm not. This is just my story. But a lot of my relationship with Christ was fear-based. It was like, you know, if you sin, you're going to hell, you know, and that's where you're just going to end up for the rest of your life. And that didn't like appeal to me. But when I went down to Florida, I discovered like the love of Christ, and I discovered his grace and his mercy for myself. And that really did change my whole mindset. And so I learned that my relationship with Christ was more love based than fear based. And that changed my life. So I was going through this program, and I was dating this guy on and off, and his name was Josh, who's now my husband. But it wasn't that easy. But I remember dating Josh on and off and meeting him. And I'll never forget the summer of 2011 or 2012. I went to go promote this college that I went to, and it was kind of at like a party area. And instead of like being the better person, like I remember like falling back into the same things. And I don't know if you guys have ever done what is it called? K2. I don't know if you guys ever smoked K2 or not, or know of anybody who smoked K2 or not. But it's a really awful drug, and it's like potpourri or whatever. So don't do it, because it's just awful. So I remember doing that, getting really wasted, and sorry, I jumped the gun. That incident happened. We were working in church camp, and I found out that my uncle had committed suicide. And he was my favorite uncle, and we were super close. And I remember feeling so like obviously like low and just confused and just hurt. And then through that, I spiraled into where I was doing drugs and stuff like that. Anyways, it was a really horrible summer. And I knew that I needed to get my life right, because obviously in high school, like the way that I dealt with my depression and the way that I dealt with sadness or fear or anger, like the way that I dealt with my emotions was awful. And it wasn't obviously the right way. And I think about like, if I were to continue on that road, like, dude, where the heck would I be right now? Like what would I be doing right now if like that was the life that I continued doing? And to be completely honest, like I would probably be with some loser, you know, on like I really do think that I'd be with some loser on drugs back in my hometown and just stuck and not doing anything and just being miserable, still struggling with depression, still struggling with anxiety, still struggling with all these things. And I remember after I came home after that summer, and I was talking to like my mentor at the time, and I just said, man, if I can't get it right in this internship program where I'm supposed to have it right, like how am I supposed to get it in the real world? Like how am I supposed to get this thing right? Like how am I supposed to live a good life? And I'll never forget, her saying that, like, dude, God's grace is so big and it just stretches so far that like nothing can separate us from the love of God. And so I just kept repeating those things. So anyways, I was sitting down with her and I decided to do a year of no dating, which to some of you guys is like, okay, like that's a joke, that's not like a big deal. But for me, it was a huge deal because that's all I've ever known was guys and just dating them, and I having that male attention as like a comfort, or like a security blanket. Um that's all I've ever known. So I decided to do a year of no dating, and that was the hardest freaking year of my life. Like I didn't talk to any guys, didn't text any guys, didn't send any pictures, like didn't do any, like I made sure, and like I was like, if I'm gonna do this year, I'm gonna do it right. And so I decided not to, talk with any guys or whatever for this 1 year, because I was like, you know what, I need to figure out who I am outside of having a relationship with a man. Like I need to figure out like my abilities and the things that I like and the things that I don't like, and just I needed to figure out what I was gonna do with my life. And so I took this year off, and it was literally like the best year of my life. It was so hard though, because I just remember just being like, it was like giving up an addiction. I mean, imagine if you're addicted to whatever and giving that thing up for a year, cold turkey. I mean, that's the same thing that it was, but with a relationship, like with a guy. So through this year, I discovered just who I was, and I discovered that life is so much more than just high school. Life is so much more than college. Life is so much more than just, sorry, life
That phrasing. sorry, Steph. You can continue.
I think that I don't know if that was my fault or not. If it was, I'm sorry. Hope I'm not boring you guys either. But what was I talking about? I was talking about so I did that year of no dating, found out who I was, and just really felt like that was like a like time for me, time that I needed to take for myself during that 1 year. Like I said previously, that my parents had gotten a divorce or whatever. I didn't really I mean, I knew my biological father, but like we weren't very close. And during that time of the summer and me choosing to do like a year of no dating and just all this stuff, he came down and visited me. And I'll never forget the moment that I knew that like my dad had loved me. And it was the time where we were sitting around and he was a truck driver. So he had a route that came through, and you had to drive like in partners or whatever. So anyways, my dad went up to go to the bathroom and I was stuck with this truck driver, which is like kind of awkward, but whatever. Totally changed my life. And this guy was like, I'll never forget how excited that your dad was when he found out that he was able to come and visit you. And I was like, really? And he was like, well, yeah. He's like, he looked like a little kid in a candy shop. He was so excited that he got to see you. And for me, not really being around my dad, that was huge. Those words were huge, and those words were life-changing. And months later, he had promised me that he was going to take me to California, which is just a crazy thing. I thought he was just kind of joking. But he told me to check my email one day, and he was like, hey, I'm going to take you to California, check your email, our itineraries in there. So I go in there, and like we're going to California, and he asked me where I wanted to go, and he said to go to I said I wanted to go to Disneyland because I'm a Disney freak. And so out of all of the crazy twists and turns of my life, I was able to go to Disneyland with my dad. And like when you picture like a picture perfect relationship, like dad-daughter relationship, you think of like a Disneyland experience, whatever. So I was able to do that. And then after I got home from that, Josh and I had been dating. After my 1 year, he asked me to be his girlfriend on the beach, and just super romantic. And we promised each other that we were going to commit to just being like having self-control with one another, because again, that was just like a thing that I used to define myself. And so now in this relationship, we told each other, dude, if we don't have enough self-control with each other to say no to each other, what's going to make us have self-control to resist somebody outside of our marriage? And like that's huge. Like I wish that somebody would have explained that to me when I was in high school, that saying no to each other when you're in a relationship, all that is just it's practice to be able to say no to somebody else. So cheating on your husband or wife, that's not even an option. And so I really learned how to become like a woman, and it was just really cool to like have that experience of the no dating. And then Josh asking me to be his girlfriend. After that, 5 months after that, he ended up taking me to Disney, and we had breakfast in Cinderella's castle, and he asked me to be his wife. And again, I just think about that drunk girl on a couch who didn't have any self-worth whatsoever, and like hated herself after that incident. And then I was traumatized by that, and not loving myself, not knowing that I had a future, not knowing that I had plans for my life. I ended up getting proposed to in Cinderella's castle by the man of my dreams. It sounds so crazy and it sounds so outlandish, but the moment that I believed that I could change, the moment that I believed that there was something better for me, the moment that I believed that I wasn't just gonna be stuck in freaking Houghton Lake for the rest of my life. Like the moment that I really like just took my life and was like, dude, like there's more to it. And really, honestly, for me, and it was completely surrendering to Christ. Like once I finally gave my life to Him, and once I finally like really surrendered it, that was the moment that I completely changed. And again, I hope I'm not making anyone feel uncomfortable with my story, but that was the moment that I finally was able to figure out my life and different things like that. So now I am married to him, and we're celebrating 2 years, and we have a baby boy, and it's awesome. So hopefully I didn't take too long, Miss Molly Collins. But that's kind of like my story. I stopped living life on fast forward, stopped trying to get through life, wanting to go to the next phase so fast. And I learned that I defined myself and not others, that it didn't matter what other people thought of me, that I just had to believe in myself, and I just had to believe in something positive and not be so negative. And yeah, so that's my story.
Thanks, Steph. Do you have any questions? What you got? You want to meet them? Yeah. They want to meet Josh and Brody.
I get.
They'll get those nuggets. Brody is so cute. I can't. He was a little baby. 3 weeks can't come soon enough. So what else are you thinking, girls? Oh my God.
My name. Say hi. Hey, no, don't look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Hey. Whoa. Brody. Say hi. Hi.
Hi, bro. He's too cute.
Are they saying?
They're saying cute. Hi, Dad.
Hi.
I know you can't see me right now, but I'm behind the camera.
Nice to meet you, Clap.
Brody, look at the camera.
Aren't you guys just precious? I feel like a family photo.
Isn't he hot? Hello.
Stop embarrassing me on camera.
Wow. Sexy husband. Woo-woo. Because I waited. To settle.
That's awesome. Toby! That's Toby.
Hey.
He's just loving life right now. Oh, my little Toby!
He's on top of the world. Oh, and this is our dog.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute us.
Say hi.
He's just really chill, obviously. He's 2. He's a boxer and a pit. We love him. I want to get rid of him, but husband says no. Oh, this is our cat.
Yes.
She's so excited.
Look at show.
Oh. Girl, ma'am, what do you want to say?
Do they have any questions for me?
Do you guys have any questions for my husband?
Josh, tell them what you do.
So I'm a student pastor, and so me and Pastor pastor through high school students. Our youth group's anywhere from 100 to 150, and in a small town of a middle school being like 300 kids, it's pretty big. And so, but yeah, we love students. We both graduated with our degrees in counseling, and so when we're not like at middle school and high schools hanging out with people, we counsel students throughout the week in our offices and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. You got a low battery.
So this would be, I guess, a good question for both of you. I mean, these girls being in high school right now, some of them are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. What would be like your one advice to them?
I think one of the best advice, because I used to be a middle school and high school teacher as well. I taught history, and at a Christian school, I taught Bible as well. And one thing that I would like always tell my students is start developing healthy cycles now. If you start quitting things and not turning in homework or not studying right now or not developing good relationships and healthy friendships now, it's going to be easier once you get into college and once you become our age, like 25, to continue in those cycles. And life is a cycle, really. And so once we start developing good cycles and healthy cycles, then it's easier to do the right thing, make the right choices, be around the right people. But when we're making the wrong cycles, it's easy to continue to do the wrong things. And
good, babe.
Yeah,
It's good.
I was starting to repeat myself, so that's why she closed me off.
No, it was good.
So yeah, just develop healthy cycles now.
Steph, what do you have, Miss Sassafras there?
No. I really thought that was really good. I think I just kind of touched on it before, but like, don't live life like fast forward. Like, don't just try to hurry up and wait for the next phase of life. Cause I can't believe that I'm gonna be 26, married, and have a baby. Cause I feel like I was just in high school. I mean, even though it was 8 years ago. Like, don't live your life in fast forward. Like, try to embrace every moment, because obviously you'll never, like, right now it'll never be this day, this time, this situation, these people. Like, especially, I don't know if you guys, did she say they were seniors in the class? No, freshman and sophomore. I know freshman year sucks. I know sophomore year is boring. Like, I understand that, but if you can try to get everything out that you can in the season that you're in right now, you'll learn to embrace it. And I don't know, life won't go as fast. Which, again, I remember as a freshman and sophomore, I wanted it to go by so fast, but just embrace you're in.
Girls, do you have any other questions? I mean, obviously, Stephanie is an open book, so.
I like the dog. It's so cute.
Road, I can't wait to meet you, sir.
Hey.
Girls, anything?
I'm just too busy looking for baby.
Like in terms of mental health, in terms of, I mean, you've heard her story and what she went through, and
Did people ever think, if anybody knew about your depression or anything, they would think you were just doing it for attention?
did you hear that?
No, what'd she say?
With your depression, did people feel as if you were just doing it for attention?
My parents said that to me. I remember one time I had an eating disorder when I was in high school, and the principal had called my mom, and I actually was hurting myself at the time too, different ways. And my parents sat me down and they said, Stephanie, you need to knock this crap off, because it's just for attention, and like, you're gonna ruin our family name, and just this, that, and the third. And I remember telling my parents that, I remember explaining it to them, and I was just like, look, like I hate myself, I hate my life, I hate this, I hate that. And I remember just pouring my heart out to them and them still not believing me. And that's where I had to realize that this was a problem, and regardless of whether anybody believed me or not, I knew that I needed to get help. And whether that was going to be through friends or not through friends, through parents or not through parents, like, I had to realize that I had to, like, do it for yourself. And I guess that's, if you hear anything, hear that regardless of whether anybody thinks it's for attention or not, get help. Like, get the help that you need and get the accountability that you need, because those people that think it's attention, they're going to find out sooner or later that it's not attention. So
Any other ones, girls?
Is she happy now?
Are you happy now?
yes, that's like my first answer would be, well, yeah, of course I'm happy. I'm happily married. I have a baby. I have my degree. Like, I live in a really beautiful home. Like, again, like, I think that that's an easy answer to say just yes. But actually, when I found out that I was pregnant with Brody, I I actually fell back into depression. And a lot of people talk about postpartum depression after you have a baby and like you go through different things. But I actually had prepartum. So when I found out that I was pregnant, I began my cycle all over again with depression, and I didn't want to have a baby. I wasn't ready for a baby, and I'm married. Like, we've already been married, whatever. But I wasn't ready for that big leap yet. And however, I made sure, and just like Josh was talking about, like not going through cycles, I made sure, and that when I start to think a negative thought, I made sure and to shut it down, because I believe that life and death is in the tongue. And so I had to make sure that I was speaking life over myself. I had to make sure that I was speaking positivity over myself and Brody, and just, but yes, I'm super, I would say that I'm definitely happy now. However, doesn't mean that you're sinning. And just because you're struggling doesn't mean that you're crazy, or just because you have a hurt or a pain, that doesn't make you unreachable or untouchable. And so that's where I'm at right now. Even though I still believe, and even though I still whatever, I still have struggles, and I still struggle with being happy different days. So I think that, yes, of course I'm happy, but I had to make sure and maintain that happiness. And I think that's also a really good lesson, like to be able to maintain that and not let the cycles control you, if that makes sense.
Very much so. I remember when you went into that, because I remember the weight gain and you were so unhappy. I remember doing your photo shoot, and someone has to buckle my sandals because I can't even do it myself. And like, we joked about it, but yeah, it was so real. And you, like, knowing that you struggled with your eating disorder and your weight before, like, that had to have been a huge thing for you.
Yeah, no, it's so hard because, I mean, like I said, like exactly what she's talking about, like pregnancy oh my God, it pissed me off so bad. It'd make me so mad that I would go on Instagram and I would look at all these moms like wearing like these cute tight dresses and stuff, and I'm like, dude, I don't look like that in my dress. I look like a freaking idiot. Like, I look like a whale. So like, everybody's body is completely different, and mine just decided to blow up. And so I had preeclampsia too, so I had to be induced and all that stuff. That's a whole nother day. When we talk about babies, I'll be there. But anyways, it was really hard. It was really hard.
You're too much right now. Well, girls, do you have any last questions at all?
Come on, one more. Let me hear it.
Anything.
Do you like your bedroom it looks like a 17-year-old teenage girl's room? I love it.
They say, do you like your bedroom? Because it looks like a 17-year-old's bedroom.
Love my. Are you wanting a tour? Is that what you're saying? So these are my wedding pictures. Okay, let me see. Here's a cute one. Oh yeah, so like that's me and my dad on my wedding day. So like, again, I would have never dreamed that would have been it. So that's there. That's there. Really messy. Gotta see. Look at that. That's real life, guys. Okay, real life. Yep. See, those are really pretty. And then that's how I was talking to you guys. See how ghetto that is? Baller. So that's my cat. That's my closet. Yep. It's raining outside. It's me and my husband making out. Holla. So Cardi just got me. So yeah, that's my life. He likes the bedroom too, though. Nice and peaceful.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sam, thank you so much for talking. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Miss Collins, I love you so much. You're the best teacher on the face of the planet. And I love what you're doing, because I know you care about them, so I love it.
It's nice that I have good friends that I can go to. So.
Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. They don't even know that.
Yeah. Oh, they do. They do. McGuire, they're quoting it right now.
Oh,
I
Lizzie.
hate it.
Awesome. Anything else you want to leave with at all?
Just if you're struggling in any area, talk to somebody about it. Don't be silent about it. Life is too short to be silent and to be struggling alone. And guarantee there's somebody else going through the same thing that you're going through. So just don't go through it alone. Whatever it is, physical, mental, spiritual, whatever. Don't go through it alone. Ask for help. So.
You're great. Love it. Thanks for telling it. I know probably wasn't what they were expecting, I'm sure. So
Yeah, I know. I was a little on it, but whatever.
that's what we do. We're honest people, you know.
Hey, I'd rather be honest and free, fake, and lonely any day.
Amen.
All right.
Well, thanks.
Good luck, Mom.
I'll text you.
Yeah, text me.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.